Alrighty, so in a previous video we discussed about the concept of modals quite briefly. This video is entirely about that and will attempt to provide a thorough explanation about the importance of modal verbs. What are modals? Modals are special verbs that behave irregularly in English. They are also known as modal auxiliaries or modal auxiliary verbs. They are different from normal verbs like eat, drink, visit, laugh, jump, dance, follow, etc. They give additional information about the function of the main verb that comes after it. These are verbs that express different kinds of things. When you use them, they express certainty, ability, willingness, necessity, permission, obligation, and possibility. Since they behave differently from regular verbs, they are a little confusing. Modal verbs that are most commonly used in everyday conversations or writing are can, could, may, might, should, ought to, must, have to, will, shall, and would. 3 basic rules to follow. So here are the 3 basic rules to follow to avoid the common mistakes that are made with the modal verbs. Number 1. Use the modal verb as it is. Don't change its form and turn it into the present, future, or past forms. Don't add anything to it. You can't add s, ed, or ing. Here's the correct sentence. Joanne can swim. Not correct, or the incorrect version is Joanne can swim. He might go to sleep. She wills go to Spain next month. We should not change that modal verb ever. Leave it as it is. Number 2. Use the base form of the verb after a modal. Don't use to or the full infinitive verb to. Here's the correct sentence. Clara might join them. The incorrect version is Clara might to join them. You must to finish your dinner. You should not to smoke. They can to stay with us this summer. We would not to arrive in time for his speech. I think you can easily tell that these sentences are all incorrect. This is quite a common error, so be careful about the to there. Make sure not to use the full infinitive form to join after the word might, will, should, may, or can. Just use the base form of the verb, which is join. You can say any of these correct sentences below. Clara could join us, Clara might join us, Clara must join us, Clara should join us, they can stay, they can come, and they can leave. Just to take note, no to after the modal. Number 3. If you need to use modals in a negative form, then use only not after the modal verb. Don't add any extra words anymore. So don't use words like isn't, doesn't, don't, won't, wasn't, and aren't. For example, the correct version of this should be you should not drink too much. The incorrect versions are you don't drink or you don't should drink too much. I don't can swim. We don't could call him. Notice in the correct sentence that not came after should. You may have learned in other grammar lessons the words such as wasn't, isn't, don't, aren't, and you're probably excited about using them in your sentences, but using them with modals is wrong. Remember, though, that there is one exception. It's with the modal verb have to. If you use this in the negative form, you need to say you do not have to go there. Here you put not in the middle of the have to. But with the other modals, you only say you could not, you might not, you ought not, you shall not, and so on. You can see that not always comes after the modal verb. Other examples of have to in the negative form are they don't have to bring all those bags. I don't have to see it to believe it. We don't have to bring umbrellas today. You don't have to watch that movie. Another thing to remember is when you use not with can to express a negative statement, you always put them together. They actually become one word, cannot, and not cannot. This is the only time you join a modal verb with not into one. But with other modals, not is always a separate word. For example, the correct version is she cannot come to the wedding. Incorrect versions are using modals with not this way is wrong. She may not come to the wedding. She will not come to the wedding. So other than cannot, The other modal should not be joined with not into one word. The correct version should be, she may not come to the wedding, she will not come to the wedding. Modals may be overwhelming and difficult to remember at first, but the more you practice, the more you're going to use them properly. Try to observe English sentences in books you read, radio programs, TV shows, or English native speakers talking. You can actually see that modal verbs are used all the time. The more you're exposed to the English language, the easier it will be for you to use modals naturally in your conversations. So that's all for today. If you found this lesson useful and want more lessons like these, then make sure to subscribe and share our video around. Cheers.